Yeah! Coming back at you today with another episode of the Criminal University. If you like what you hear, make sure that you subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. We appreciate the support. For real. We're trying to keep y'all safe and keep y'all out the system. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that. Today's episode is going to be about how you always need to be prepared. How you always need to be prepared. You hope for the best, expect the worst, but you prepared at all times. See, the thing is, if you're living a life of crime and you're in the streets every day, committing crimes every day, at some point you will go to jail. It's inevitable. The law of averages says at some point you will go to jail. If you commit crimes every day, you will go to jail. Whether it's for 1 day, 1 week, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years, or the rest of your life. At some point you will go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you need to be prepared. Now, people say, well, damn, why would you prepare for going to jail? No, well, what you need to do is make sure that you always have lawyer money and bail money in the stash. So that way, when the time comes when you do get arrested, that you're prepared to fight the case to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? So before you start spending money on jewelry, clothes, cars, whatever you want to spend your money on, first you prepare and make sure that you have lawyer money and bail money in the stash. That way you can always fight the case and be able to get out of jail. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you prepare yourself for that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So now we're going to go back to the year was about 2001, 2002. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere around that time period. And it takes place in New York. You know what I'm saying? And around the time, I'm heavy in the streets, hustling every day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm basically just living a life of crime. And I know at some point, I'm going to end up catching the case. You know what I'm saying? So a friend of mine actually recommended a lawyer because he had caught a case, a direct sale, and he was facing 8 1/3 to 25. And he actually beat that case through this lawyer. So he recommended him to me, gave me his phone number. I contacted the lawyer. We met up, you know what I'm saying? I decided to give him money in advance. I gave him $1,000 before I even caught a case, you know what I'm saying? So I gave him $1,000 and I let him know, listen, when the time comes, if I happen to catch a case, I want you to show up for me at my arraignment hearing. So that way, from day one, you'll be fighting for me. You know what I'm saying? So I gave him $1,000 before I even caught a case. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I did that is because at your arraignment hearing, it's essential that you have a lawyer there. You know what I'm saying? That you have a counsel there. Because that's when they set your bail. You know what I'm saying? You could have a high bail, a low bail, or no bail. You know what I'm saying? So you want to have a lawyer fighting for you to get the lowest bail possible. If you have a public defender, he's not really going to fight for you. He's basically just going to accept whatever the prosecutor recommends. So if you have your lawyer there and he's fighting for you to get the lowest bail possible, that's the difference we get between getting a $100,000 bail or getting a $10,000 bail. You know what I'm saying? You might even be able to get what's called an ROR, be able to get what's released on your own recognizance, which means you'll get released without any type of bail. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's essential that you have your lawyer at your arraignment hearing. So that way you're able to get the best, lowest possible bail possible. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So as the year goes on, doing regular things, whatever, I happen to catch a case. You know what I'm saying? I catch a gun charge in New York. You know what I'm saying? Anyone knows they're pretty serious about guns in New York. You know what I'm saying? They have some of the strictest gun laws in the country. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, I caught a gun charge. They caught me with a .357 on me, and I had about 20 or 30 bags of weed in the car. They wasn't really worried about the weed too much, but they were serious about the gun. You know what I'm saying? And then they charged me with what's called possession of a weapon in the act of a crime or in commission of a crime. Something like that. It's basically a way for them to hype up the charge and give you more time. You know what I'm saying? So as I caught this case, I called the lawyer. You know what I'm saying? And I let the lawyer know, listen, I caught a gun charge, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? This is where I'm at, you know. And when it was time when they called me out at my arraignment hearing, the lawyer was there. You know what I'm saying? The lawyer was there, fought for me. He was able to get me a bail of $20,000. You know what I'm saying? $20,000 bail. And we had a bail bond connect. So I was out of there within 48 hours tops, you know. I went to jail for 1 day, you know, and by the time they processed the bail the next day, I was out of there, you know what I mean? So we was end up fighting that case, you know what I mean? Keep fighting that case for about 2 years actually. Fought the case for 2 years to the point we got to what's called a suppression hearing, right? Now at the suppression hearing, that's where they decide what evidence they're going to keep and what evidence they're going to throw out, or what they call suppress. You know what I'm saying? So as I have this lawyer fighting for me, you know what I'm saying? And the cop was essentially dirty, you know what I'm saying? The way that they had a legal search, you know what I mean? And I had a witness that witnessed them searching the car and how they searched the car before they even found anything, you know what I'm saying? We'll get to that one on a later note. But basically, I had a witness there, and between the witness, what he told the judge, and between the officer himself was just basically lying, and the judge basically saw through the fact that he was lying. They actually suppressed the gun and the weed, which means they threw out the gun and the weed. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, the DA or whatever, they decided to drop all charges because there's nothing left. If they ain't got no gun and no weed, what they charge me with? You know what I'm saying? So I ended up beating that case at the suppression hearing because I had a good lawyer there representing me. You know what I'm saying? In total, I spent $7,500 to have the lawyer there represent me from start to finish, but that was some of the best money I spent. You know what I mean? Because I know now that from the beginning, from the arraignment hearing to the suppression hearing, I had a lawyer represent me the whole time. You know what I mean? No public defender, someone that doesn't know my name or couldn't tell me nothing about the case. I had a private attorney from start to finish, and I ended up beating that case. You know what I mean? Yeah, it cost $7,500 and whatever money we had to spend on the bail. But that's when you're talking about freedom, you can't put a cost on that. You know what I mean? You can't put a cost on your freedom. It's priceless. That's why you have to always be prepared. If you're truly going to be in the streets and be there every day, make sure you're prepared as best as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, no one wants to go to jail, but at some point when you do go to jail, you want to be prepared. You hope for the best, expect the worst, but you're prepared at all times. You know what I mean? Make sure you have your lawyer money, your bail money, and you're prepared at all times. You don't say anything, you let your lawyer speak for you. You know what I'm saying? Minimize the risk, you know what I'm saying? And you're prepared at all times. Straight like that, you know what I mean? So this is another episode of the Criminal University, trying to keep y'all safe, trying to keep y'all out the system. If you like the content, make sure that y'all comment, you heard? Straight like that.